it really hurt him, Bill. That hurt him more than anything. It tore out his heart that man did that to his daughter. And Cosgrove wanted to kill him, and I kept saying, no, you can't do that. Let the law do what it has to do. I said, if you do something to him, you're going to be in prison.
Getting back to the Iron Sheik here, when was the last time you saw him or talked to him?
Okay. Well, after we got through all that and WrestleMania.
No, I mean recently, Sarge. I mean recently.
Recently. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get to that point. He wasn't around, and so Vince brought him in as Colonel Mustafa to be in my company. And after that run, I left and he left, and we didn't see each other other than the gimmick battle royal. Yeah. That was the next time I saw him. And as we went out to the ring and I was to be announced, Vince grabbed me and said, "We got a little problem. I need you to do me a favor." And I said, what is it? He said, "Can you let Cosgrove, he can't get over the top rope. They can't throw him over the top rope." So he said, "Do him a favor." So I did him a favor. And then I inducted him into the Hall of Fame. And then we just started seeing each other periodically here and there at shows. I tried to get him to come out to shows. I finally got him to do WrestleMania in New York and do the signings at the WrestleCade and WrestleCon. And he didn't want to come. People wanted to see him. I said, "Cosgrove, they wanted to see you." So I brought him in, and he was so happy. There's a knock at my door, and nobody knocks at my hotel door. So I look through the peephole, don't see anybody. Open up the door, and there he is on his little scooter. "Sergeant, thank you. I make lots of money. And so we would see each other, call each other. I would call him on his birthday and always wish him a happy birthday. And I went down to his home about 6 or 7 months ago. I was doing an appearance in Atlanta. And on the way out of town, I called Carol to see if it'd be okay to stop by. And she said, the minute I told him that you wanted to come by, he just can't get over that you're going to come by and see him. And he's gone, shaved. He's going to shave, and he's going to get all ready for you. And that was the last time I really saw him alive.
So now you attended the celebration of his life. That was on the 17th of June, 2020. Yes. None of us were there. What can you paint a picture for us?
Right. Well, there's a lot of pictures of him and his family, and I got to meet all of his family. I didn't realize how many grandchildren he had, and of course he had the 2 daughters, and just a beautiful, beautiful family. And a bunch of people spoke. Keith Elliott Greenberg. Yes. He came and he spoke. And Cosgrove's cousins or somebody from Toronto were there, and they spoke. And a neighbor across the street spoke about how he would get all the kids and make them run around the house and stay in shape. And she said she just loved him to death, like it was her own father. But and talked about how Cosgrove always would push them, never give up. Always know that you can do it. If you can't do it today, give it a chance tomorrow. Don't give up on anything. And she just told this beautiful story. And finally, they asked me to get up and speak, and I told the story about how I first met him and went through the whole scenario of how we spent time in the ring together and outside the ring, and all the trips we made, talking about the horrible incident that happened with his daughter. And it really hurt him, Bill. That hurt him more than anything. It tore out his heart that man did that to his daughter. And Cosgrove wanted to kill him, and I kept saying, no, you can't do that. Let the law do what it has to do. I said, if you do something to him, you're going to be in prison. You're going to be in jail. And, it's not going to help anybody. Your family's going to be by themselves. So he always listened to me. And so, he was just a kind, gentle, lovable man that loved everyone. He loved his fans so much, and he just enjoyed entertaining them. Because I guess that we are away from our family so much, anytime there would be children around, he would always, and I do the same thing. You see the children, and they kind of replace yours for a little while because you're not there for Christmas and the holidays and the birthdays and the anniversaries with your wife and all those special times, because that's when we're the busiest. And so when you see little children and you just want to get a little hug in and just say, oh, God, that felt good, even though that she's not mine or he's not mine, at least it was a little child that it gave you, the feeling that you were, with them.
Yes. What would you say his legacy is?
Cosgrove's legacy, that he loved his fans and they loved entertaining them. There were times when he really got off the deep end with what happened with his daughter. And unfortunately, he got mixed up in a lot of pain pills and drugs and alcohol. And he admitted it, and he became a born-again Christian. I met his minister at the celebration of his life and talked highly of how Cosgrove and Carol came to him and how they sat and talked for hours and hours. And Cosgrove let it all out. He let the minister know and Carol sitting there why he, was in such bad shape. And on top of that, he had broken his ankle years and years ago and never had it reset. So it formed a lot of arthritis and calcium buildup, and it got to be where he couldn't even walk, much less do anything. And so all those things kind of just all came at one time. And he passed very easily. I shouldn't say easily. He passed very at home. He was at home when he passed. And he just kind of fell asleep, and he was on oxygen, a lot of oxygen, and they would take it off, and he just there's pictures that I've seen that they took of him in his chairs and things, and you could see light going through the picture, like the spirit, they were calling him, And so he kept, at the end, they said that he kept saying, I'm okay. I want to go. I know I'm going to be safe, and I'm going to be much better where I'm going. He didn't want to be here any longer. And I talked to his son-in-law, Eddie, at length at his celebration. And he said, yeah, he got to the point where he just wanted to leave. He said that there's nothing left for me here. I want to go and, see my daughter, and I want to go away. I want to be in heaven. So they finally just basically let him go, and he went peacefully.
I'm glad to hear that. I want to change subject on two more things I want to talk to you about. And a lot of people don't know what happened to his daughter. By the way, I don't know if you want to bring any of that up.
Right. Well, she was brutally murdered by her boyfriend.
Right.
And they'd only been seeing each other a short time. And he strangled her and ended up doing things with her body, covered her up. And he was sorry that he did it. He lost control or whatever, and he lost his temper. And they weren't sure why he really did it, because they thought that he loved her, but evidently he didn't. And so he got pressed the charges, and when it was time for him to get his sentence, Cosgrove was at the courthouse, and he had a razor in his mouth. And he was going to go up and he wanted to talk to the guy before they took him away, and he wanted to slice his throat. But his daughter saw the razor blade because he wasn't talking, and they said, "Open your mouth, Dad, open your mouth." And he finally opened his mouth and he had the razor blade. So they sat on top of him, won't let him get up. And so the gentleman that was put away got out of there without any problem, and thank goodness they did, because that would be the worst thing for him to do, is to try to do something to this guy when he'd already been sentenced to life imprisonment. So it was just a very sad time for Cosgrove. He, as I said, he turned to the drugs, not only for that, but for his pain, his leg, and the things that he'd gone through, the pain in his heart and the alcohol. It seemed to be able to put him in a different place so he could quit thinking about it. Because he told me at one time on one of our car rides, he said, when I lay my head on the pillow, all I see is my daughter. And he said, I can't sleep. And I said, well, you just need to give it some time. And he said, I've given it time. And then I kind of lost touch with him. And that's when he started doing the really heavy drugs. And finally, I believe Carol kicked him out of the house. She said he wasn't the man that she married. She didn't know who this guy was, and they never knew how he was going to be when he came home. So she just moved out and said, you just live there as long as you want to. I'm not staying. And so finally he committed to getting help. And that's when she moved back in, when they went to the minister and went to different places to get him help. And he got clean and found God, and everything was good. Yeah.
Okay.